Yeah, Rabbi say so the Shishir and Rabbi Yasom will say the Sikkim on today's Shem Kadish Yasom.
Just to let you view, we learned today, Bez Hashem, as we saw, first of all, this awesome power of Kaddish. It's something that's amazing. There are 4 different types of Kaddishim, but each Kaddish is the same. It's Kedushas Shem Hashem. Some say it's the rise of the mitzvah Kadash B'Sech B'nai Yisrael. Kadish Yasom has an added feature. The source of Kadish Yasom is the story of Rabbi Akiva. We went to great lengths to locate a son of a Rasha who wasn't gemalt, and he mamish made a total change in the life of the child, and he made him say Kaddish, and that saved the father, even though the father was a terrible Rasha, but that saved the father from Gehenna. So the Paiskim, the Shadramon, learns from here the importance of saying Kaddish. It's basically a very prominent pekel that a child sends for his parent, and now we understand that it really has 2 mitzvahs deraisa when a son says Kaddish for a parent. There's the mitzvah deraisa of Kiddush Shem Shemayim every time one says Kaddish, when he Kadash B'Sech B'nai Yisrael. That's the mitzvah of Kiddush Shem Shemayim B'Rabim. And then there's additional mitzvah of Kibbut Ava'im that a son has. And each Kaddish is important. It's kedai not to miss any Kaddish. I know people that if they miss a Kaddish, they'll make it up in a different minyan. But basically each Kaddish should be said. But the Kaddish is not said for the parent. The Kaddish is said for Shem Shemayim, the Kvayt Shemayim. And the Schusim, Memelim Yavoi, but the Ikka Kaddish is said, the Mekadesh Shem Shemayim. You could insert the Kavanah for the parent in Valkol Yisrael or Oiseh Shalom Bimroimov, but basically the thrust of the Kaddish is Kedusha Shem Hashem. It's also to be Marba B'Kadeshim Fakeret. That's because of the Chshivas of Kaddish. It's like saying a Brachal of Atala. Kaddish has to be said with a purpose. Time to throw a Kaddish is what's unfortunately called a Kadish Yasom, that the Kaddish is a Yasom. If a person has to miss saying Kaddish for whatever reason, for legitimate reason, he should hire someone, dafka pay the person to say Kaddish in his place. Kaddish that has to cause machlaikis, so it's better not to say Kaddish. A Kaddish is said even after 50 years of the yahrzeit, because there's chusim on Netzach. If need be, a person could say Kaddish in the middle of Sukkot de Zimra, it's not a hefsik. If the parent says, I'm moichel saying Kaddish, the son should not listen to the parent, he should say the Kaddish. Even if the parent is a Rasha, there's a reason that the child should say Kaddish, that the schus the parent needs. If the son's a Rasha, also the parent should not tell him, don't say Kaddish. Obviously the son needs some tikkun, and maybe the Kaddish, the davening for the 11 months will bring him closer to Avav Sheba Shemayim. A father says, don't say Kaddish on the mother because he's worried, because he's still alive. Then the minig is, we don't listen to the father, tell him that it's nothing wrong with the Kaddish, even though the parent is alive. The minig of saying Kaddish 11 months is a minig of Ashkenazim. Sfaradim say Kaddish 12 months. But basically, we don't want to imply that the parents are Rishayim, even though it's a Shvera minig, but that's our minig, and we follow the minig carefully. If the parent asks to say Kaddish for 12 months, then the son should listen to the parent. It's not a violation of Halacha. It's basically a minig to stop saying Kaddish after 11 months. If the parent was known to be a Rasha, the child should say Kaddish for 12 months. If he hires someone to say Kaddish for the parent, then it's 2 days if he says 11 or 12 months. The Kaddish after learning could be said even after the yahrzeit. It's not a Kadish Yasom, even though it's associated with that, but it's really a Kaddish for the learning. The question of saying Kaddish 11 months is after the Kfura or after the Misa. It seems that the minig is to say 11 months from the Yom HaKfura. If a parent is nifta before the Kfura and it's Shabbos, so again, many have the minig, the son does say Kaddish even before the Kfura, because he's not an Oinen. Shabbos, he's a Shabbos, he's not an Oinen, he could say the Kaddish. The Kaddish should be said together, even though a few Avelim should say it together. By one whispering, he's not gaining because he's not saying Kaddish. And as we explained, Kaddish could be said even for a cotton, even by a cotton. Adrab, that's the main purpose of the Kaddish Yasom, to allow a cotton to say Kaddish. Some say even a cotton shalai yigil lechinach, but certainly if he knows what he's saying, it's okay. I forgot to mention, the Pais can discuss if a child, leilenu, a baby is nifta, is Kaddish said. And that's another nafkamina of our svara. Because if it's only to take out the mace from Gehenna, the child was too young to Averis, there's no problem of Gehenna. But if the word is chusim, then even on a child that's very young, and taka the minig is, once the child is beyond 30 days, it's no longer an nefel, the minig is to say Kaddish even on that child.